YouTubings, this is Konrad, the Yerba Addict here, and in today's video we're gonna go through a little bit of a controversial topic, which is basically men copywriters versus women copywriters. What are like some natural tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses of each? I will try to give you my experience of hiring, coaching, also myself being a man copywriter, and also kind of, different takes that I've seen on the subject and things I learned over the years about the psychology, how does it connect to copywriting, and what it means for you, whether you are a man or a woman and you want to start your copywriting journey, and you want to know basically what should you focus on, what you are naturally better at, and what you have to work on more, and also who has a higher chance of succeeding as a copywriter, in my opinion, at least, and from my experience. So, but before we get into actual subject of the matter, as always, I love me some Yerba. So a day without Yerba, it's not a good day. So let's dive into it. So before we get into the actual, nitty gritty of the subject, let's lay some fundamentals before we get into that. So the fundamentals basically are that men and women are inherently different species. I mean, we are both human, but at the same time, we are as different as we are similar. Like, we have a lot of differences in the way we are wired. The basic difference, and you can learn about it, just basically learning about the psychology, is that men are interested in things and women are interested in people. And there are many studies, examples. I'm not gonna go into much detail and to prove why certain things are the way they are, and why I believe this way, and why I think this is true or this is not. I'm just gonna lay some kind of a ground basics that, from my side, are the truths about our human nature of men and women, and yeah, without going too much into details. So yeah, men are interested in things and women are interested in people. And basically, women are naturally superior and more inclined to feel the emotions and feelings of others, like to have so-called empathy. Naturally, it comes much easier to them, because if you look in the past, the way a woman would survive in a tribe, or any kind of a social group, would be through kind of maintaining great relationships, knowing the social dynamics and knowing how to operate there well, knowing how to get into each person, how to make friends, how to avoid enemies. And a man would do it much differently. He would acquire it through power and being strong and fighting better, right? So, and for women, it was very important also to have safety. Like, safety was a number one thing, just to raise a child. And for a man, he was more always inclined to take risks, because just of a different, evolutionary needs that we have. And because copywriting combines both the logical argument that you have to kind of outline to somebody, as well as the emotional trigger. So it's a combination of both. There isn't really in my experience, like one clear winner, because basically my conclusions that are women tends to have a lot better conversational writing from the get-go. They know how to better get into the shoes of the person they are writing it to, and they generally have a lot less ego about their writing, while men are a lot more direct. They're good logicians, so they know how to phrase, get the meat and write something in like logical way, because they think that's, how everyone thinks logically. And they are way more direct, so they are not so afraid of like actually asking for something and writing in more direct way if need be. But their problem is that a lot of times they have ego about about the writing and being coached. Like they take it usually the wrong way. I'm not saying everyone, but these are just like tendencies. And also they have a much harder time in actually getting into someone else's shoes, as to like putting themselves in the shoes of the reader. How is he feeling right now? How are his emotions? How would he read it? In what tone of voice? How would he take this sentence and without any context? I think women are inherently better because of the reasons I stated in the beginning. And the winner is not obvious, like who is it better gonna have an easier time, in my opinion, personally, because of the times we live in. So the times of more social disconnect and people in general having, weaker soft skills. So soft skills are skills like not the technical skill, but the ability to lead, the ability to have the empathy skill, the ability to like communicate, things that are not technical. And I think we live in a day and age where there's a lot more people who possess technical skills of whatever kind than there are people who know how to actually communicate that to people or lead people, get people in a group, to cooperate, to negotiate, like things that require like some kind of social interaction. I think we live in a day and age where there's a lot less people having those like soft skills, and for such reason, I think it's if you plan on hiring somebody, I would lean towards hiring a woman copywriter even if they don't have a much skill, because I think, in my opinion personally, it's much easier to teach somebody the technical skill of like, hey, how to get facts, how to gather, facts around what you're writing about. This is how the formulas look for maybe writing headlines. This is what works. Compared to teaching somebody how to make your copy less dry, more emotionally triggering, more attention grabbing, more empathetic. How to make it more about them than you, because that's also like a key element there. I think it's just the first is much easier than the second. Doesn't mean that if you are a man, you shouldn't be a copywriter, because there's a lot of great copywriters. And if you are a man, doesn't mean you just are naturally gifted and you're gonna have you don't have to learn anything and you're just gonna sit down and write great copy. Doesn't mean that. It's just like some natural tendencies. So if you are a woman, I would say, for most part, I'm gonna say everybody, you will have much easier time just relating to people, but you have to kind of improve your technical skill of writing and formulating certain things and maybe using certain words and being more direct and asking for things. So you have to kind of force this in yourself. Well, if you are a man, you got to work on your empathy skills of being able to relate, to make observation, to put yourself in somebody's shoes. And both those things you can do basically through practice, through learning about human psychology, through actually going out into the real world and interacting with people and understanding how social dynamics work. And then your copy is going to work much better, because copywriting, it's just another way of communicating. It's just taking what you would do in a spoken format into the writing. But the fundamentals and principles stay the same because people stay the same. So this was a bit of a rant and maybe a controversial topic, but I don't know. I thought it's maybe important to address it because maybe I haven't seen people talk about it, but I think it's something that is on some people's minds, and it's an observation that I've just seen. And as I said, trying to coach, trying to hire, learning it myself, copywriting myself, knowing other people who also do copywriting, and generally, just observing certain tendencies of men and women. And I would just wanted to put it in the context of copywriting and what it means for you guys. So I hope this kind of gave you a little bit more insights as to what you should look out for, whether you are just planning on hiring or you are just, want to be copywriter yourself, or you're already a copywriter and you just kind of want to understand your strengths and weaknesses better to know what to focus on. Hopefully this helped you. And if it did, please comment. And if you like this type of videos, please subscribe and help the channel grow. And until next time, my friend, let the Yerba stay with you.